Welcome back to Dead Wax.
All right,
Welcome back to Dead Wax.
We're joined by Kane here, and we're listening to Talk, Life's What You Make It. Let's jump in and listen right off the bat, and then we'll introduce our special guest.
Here we go.
Classic fade out guy.
Wow.
Slow fade.
That's a slow fade.
Yeah. Do you guys know about?
We gotta listen to the very end, by the way.
I'll give you this anecdote.
talk us out.
So there's a story I heard about the fade out guy. Do you guys know about this in the 80s? It's not an appropriate story, but it's good. It's folklore.
I want to hear it.
So apparently in the 80s when record budgets were high, there was like this inside baseball where people would put on their bill like ahead of time when they were going to get advanced the money for their record. They put on the California fade out guy who did all the perfect fade outs.
Yeah.
Of course, that guy doesn't exist, and it was just their cocaine budget.
Wow.
that they'd get up front for the fade out guy.
Wow.
Yeah. He's good.
Oh
He's
my
good.
God.
He does make the song better.
He does.
He makes it a lot
you know what
better.
I always like about fade out is it's long, and then at the very end it's just like they go like that.
Yeah.
Like the last 2 seconds of a fade out is just a hard dip.
Always,
Yeah, because who's still listening at that
There's
point?
Finesse. I know, right.
We're
It's
all
just
telling
done.
stories over that part of the
That's
song.
right. You gotta just scoot it out.
We're talking about the fade out guy by that time.
And he's only got so much time. You know, he's busy.
Yeah.
He's a busy man.
That song is
So-
so good. What an instant vibe.
Exactly.
How old were you when you heard this song?
It wasn't long ago. I mean, my revelation with Talk, I'd heard their, big songs when I was young, but I didn't really get turned on to the rest of their catalog until maybe like 2-3 years ago, and I became obsessed.
Yeah.
And then I heard like Spirit of Eden and stuff like that.
I feel like most people find it late.
Yeah,
It's
because
like
it's
a musician-y band.
It totally, and people don't know him to be that way.
You didn't know it.
Haven't found it yet.
Yeah. Have you heard Spirit of
Now
Eden?
I'm going to go deep because that was
that
a
record.
cruise ship of a song.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's beautiful.
So before we go deeper here, let's introduce our amazing guest, Kane Ritchotte. Jack, do you want to do the honors?
Sure. Kane is former member of Portugal the Man.
Indeed.
An amazing drummer and musician all
you.
around. You've recorded with Group Love, Haim, Phoebe Bridgers, Ethan Gruska, Blake Mills, Tobias Jesso Jr., Niall Horan, Gabriels, and Orville Peck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of heavies.
That was last week.
Yeah.
And you've also worked on original music and worked as a musical coach for Daisy Jones and the Six, and you're working on your own band right now, which is called More.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
Yes, with the asterisk. It's important
Wow.
for Googling.
Kane is one of our favorite drummers. We've been doing writing sessions for Pockets with Kane. It's been a blast. So thank you for being here
My
and doing
pleasure.
this.
Thanks for having me.
Should we talk a little bit about Talk?
Sure.
This song, Life's What You Make It, was released as a single in 1985, the first from the band's album, The Color of Spring. The single was a hit in the UK in January 1986, peaking at number 16. The song was one of the last to be conceived for The Color of Spring, following concern from the band's management at the lack of an obvious single amongst accumulated work. Initially unwilling, Mark Hollis and Tim, the principal source of original material for the band, accepted the task as a challenge.
Wow.
They're good. They're good under pressure.
The age-old situation of like, okay, nice record, but we don't hear a hit.
I know.
Give us a bass line with some changing chords and put life in the title.
This the first thing that sticks out to me about this song is that percussion bed.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. And it's static, the whole song.
Yes.
No, it's the rhythm section because it's that riff too. Don't, that pentatonic thing.
Is it a
the
loop?
whole time. I mean, it sounds like it's a loop. Unless they got somebody
It
to
does.
be real patient.
The
play
tam
it.
hits sound different, a little bit different. Sounds like maybe there's some live
the bass
stuff.
or the piano thing. Oh, the drums. Yeah,
That sounds
for
like
sure.
a live tam.
For sure.
Okay.
It could all be natural percussion and drums just like heavily processed.
Can we break down the percussion bed because there's so much cool shit going in there?
Stereo shakers.
Yeah, I think there's also a tambourine shaking and a backbeat tambo.
So can we listen? Let's listen for the stereo shakers
That's
first.
kind of Radiohead. This
Dude, there
groove.
would be no Radiohead without
Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the shakers on both sides. That's my imitation of a shaker.
Really
Good. It's a good
on
shaker.
both sides.
Sample it, kids.
And then there's that, which is like a
Like
fake
a
hat.
kielbasa or something.
Yeah, what is that?
Have you seen
Good
those
ear.
wood blocks with the
I didn't
sandpaper
notice
on
that.
there?
Yeah, it's
They go
on the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's a lot of toms. There's some tom action. You want to walk us through those toms?
Let's see. Oh yeah. Sounds like concert toms or something
Yeah.
like that.
How
It's
would
good.
you record those? Is that like do you
I wouldn't.
envision?
It sounds like samples to me, right?
Is it samples?
It sounds like
it's-
samples.
I never know with records
It's
from this era.
1985.
I know because that's
Came
the
out
thing.
in '85.
It's like drum machine. That sounds like a drum machine.
Could be, but the thing is, those
think
drum
so?
machines were also samples of whoever was recording. I think whatever processing they were doing in that era, which it sounds like it's like probably tape, not ADAT. I don't know when ADAT started happening, but still, it's like the kind of equipment they were using in processing and stuff. It is strangely hard to recreate.
Yeah.
It's not, you'd have to kind of be there and see what they were doing
Yeah.
because it is. You can't tell if it's a drum machine or if it's
Yeah.
natural and heavily processed. I mean, the whole mix is heavy-handed.
Yeah.
It's got stuff.
If
going
it
on.
is live playing, it is expertly timed live playing. Like
Certainly, yeah.
really
Yeah.
solid, like grid playing.
You're right. It's certainly done in layers. Doesn't sound like somebody sat down and would play. It's a non-intuitive thing
Yeah.
to play, but it's good.
Okay, so a drummer. Do you think a drummer's playing over the tom thing, or do you think it's all programmed?
My guess is that it's programming and then layers maybe of like
Yeah.
kick and snare
Yeah.
and percussion and stuff like that. That's my guess.
Like someone's playing kick and snare throughout the whole song over the layers of
someone. And who
percussive
knows?
loops.
Who knows who it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that piano part is
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
This is another thing about Talk Talk that is so masterful. Is they can do they have riffs like this and things that when you isolate them, it's almost a little goofy.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they're so stylized and it's the way the things come together and the world that they build. It's anything but goofy. It's cool as hell.
Yeah, it's cool as hell.
How could I would never be like yeah
You know what? You know what? So
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Hey, Kane, I got an idea for a song.
yeah. It's like Charlie Brown,
Yeah.
which is also cool.
But what makes it fucking hip as fuck is that guitar part
I
that comes
know.
in over that. Because that guitar, it's such a cool. It's
and also
the
the
phrasing.
the harmony.
yeah,
The harmony is like simple
I
but
know.
cool. Like the first time, even just like the one major came in, I was
totally.
like, "Oh, I didn't know we were in a major key."
Right, because it sounds like a minor
and then
bluesy
like
thing.
the first time, the 4 major
Yeah.
followed the 1 major.
yes.
I was like surprised
And
for
there's
like the
almost
first
some, like-
5 times
there's
that
like some
happened.
Eastern moments in it.
There
Yeah.
are. There's
Yeah.
and the guitar playing has some what is that even called? Like inflections on
Yeah,
notes that
totally.
are like yeah, it would be
like
a-
hovers around some funny
exactly,
yeah.
and that has a sense of like Arabic kind of
I know.
tonality or something.
And
But-
the piano solo is also in the
Yeah.
vein of exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, is this guy even a piano player? Like this is pure.
They when I watch footage of Talk Talk playing, I don't know if these guys, I don't know who was tracking on the record, but they have like their setup will be around this era. It would be like Mark Hollis just singing,
Yeah.
like a gangster, looking
Yeah.
really stylish with a great fit on,
of course.
of course.
I can hear the fit in the track.
Yeah. And then there'd be a guitar player, bass player, drummer, and 2 keyboard players. So I think it was like, and those dudes rip.
Yeah.
So I think it might be like a
But
member.
that's the cool thing about it's like it's the type of piano solo where it's not fancy shit.
No, it's not.
there you go. Just fixing your mic.
Oh, thank you,
Keep
Jack.
going.
But it's
You're doing
clever.
great.
I mean, it's not like it doesn't sound like someone's bad at piano. It sounds
Right.
like someone's so good that they have nothing to prove.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's so much attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In it, like
Lots of
I feel like I know whoever's taking that solo. I know their entire life
Yeah.
story, and I love them.
Wow.
No, I wonder who it
Interesting.
was. I wonder if it was Mark Hollis or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Can we figure out this harmony? Because I think one thing that's cool about this harmony is like flat 6, flat 7, 1 is kind of a thing that we all have been hearing for
Yeah.
many years.
Again, something that's like kind of cheesy
Yeah.
by itself.
But the way it's
Wait, you should
The-
play that for people. Flat 6, flat 7, 1.
so okay. So if we're in
G sharp major.
G sharp. Yep. So then the flat 6 is me, and then
right? Which is like cheesy ending.
Very Trent Reznor, very like...
Or that,
There's a few people who've played with that. I guess maybe it's like, feels like, to me, an untrained listener, it feels like a very kind of palm to forehead classical movement or something like that. You know what I mean?
It's got that mode mixture sort of feeling.
Well, especially over the pedal.
Right.
That's what makes it so interesting.
The context,
is that they're not changing the bass note.
Right.
And that's what you don't hear. So you hear...
Can you play them both at once?
Well, no, you play the riff.
I'll play the shaker.
So you got...
It goes like this.
That's... So now the chords on top... Now, I don't know if I have the same rhythm as they did.
Welcome to Tiny Desk.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, flat 6.
That's good.
And listen to the melody. Instead of going, they go,
Yeah.
which is really hip.
Beautiful tone, Jack.
That was nice.
It's really nice.
So you got
Are the windows okay? Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
but this
Tension. Yeah.
that's a like you got to have guts
dense.
Yeah.
to do that.
Especially when you don't know, you don't have the context yet of the following chord.
That's the thing, and it's one of my favorite things to do when I'm writing is to find some sort of fixed riff, or even like I'll just loop some sort of sequence,
Yeah.
and then try to find chords over it, because you do end up landing on things that are more courageous than you know them to be.
Totally.
You know? And weirdly, kind of staying fixed, juxtaposed against something seems to be. It seems to alleviate more room harmonically when you'd think intuitively it would box you in, but it doesn't.
Because it's so grounded.
Yes.
I mean, the track and the bass line, like, there's so much room to put dissonance over because it feels so good.
Yeah, if you have some kind of pedal that's that grounded, that feels so much like home, you can actually pull it pretty far out.
You can.
Before it doesn't feel good anymore.
Yeah.
And you can then come back in.
Yeah.
So when you have a riff like that, you can actually throw a lot of shit in there.
The other thing about this song is, like, everything has attitude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the way he's playing the guitar
Yeah.
Can we
is
listen
just
to that guitar? Let's listen to
reeks
that.
of
It's so
attitude.
good.
Listen to that guitar.
Like, even the tone.
I can
like,
smell the cigarettes.
Like,
I can too. So good.
everything borders on cheesy. Like,
Yeah, I
that
know.
tone by itself.
but
is-
it's so
is-
not cheesy.
I know,
I know.
but then you
It's a
put it all
magic trick.
together.
It's a
You put it all
magic trick.
together,
Magic trick.
and it's the opposite of cheesy.
Let's listen to how it comes into. Listen to how that guitar comes
Yeah,
in.
you
It's
don't
like,
expect it.
Yeah, it's
know.
like such a...
It's like the Kool-Aid Man bursting through the wall.
He does that rake thing.
Oh my God.
so good.
It's like, just like, it's like a bandana.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like we're
It's
getting
some
ready to
Rambo
fight.
shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's another thing that this band is so masterful at, and it's entrances.
I see.
It's okay. You got. It's okay.
Give us a second. Bandana.
Rambo.
Okay.
Rambo.
Yeah. And the entrances.
Yes,
yeah.
their entrances, not unlike Rambo, also a skill of his.
Yes.
The entrances are really masterful. Like,
Yes.
Everything about this band feels totally visceral and intuitive.
Yes.
I don't know if that's how it's put together, but that's the result of whatever they're doing. And it's like every moment is kind of a goosebump moment. Every moment is like, makes you feel like Rambo. Rambo's really relevant, actually, in this conversation.
It reminds me of Prince and how unabashed it is. Like,
Totally.
Like the fucking attitude. Like, I just imagine someone walking over to the piano with the bandana on and hammering out that solo and being like, that's it. That's the solo.
Yeah. I think I've seen Mark Hollis in a bandana or two, you know? It is that attitude. You've pinpointed
it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Can we just break down that guitar playing a little bit more? Because it's...
More, huh?
No.
Okay.
There's something about it. Like, if I were to say, Ryan, play that. Like, could you just play? Like, I think. Listen
Oh,
to
yeah,
it.
I could play it perfectly.
You could. You could.
No, it's so stylized. But there's so much. It's oozing with attitude.
Do you know what I mean? Though, like
I couldn't.
It's like it's so
Yes, you could.
expressive.
I could.
Come on. Pick up a guitar. Let's hear it.
Yeah, let me play it on this nylon string
That's the
guitar.
one. Do it.
Bend around on that thing.
See how it's.
This is a nice
I mean, yeah.
rendition.
It sounds a
I'll
lot
put
more
it in the track.
classical when you do it with the nylon
That's a
string.
nice sounding nylon string.
Thanks, guys.
So yeah, but
I
that,
don't think they did it with a nylon string.
No, it sounds like
After
a.
hearing it compared.
The back-to-back gave it
It
away.
was
for
probably
me.
an electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the part itself is a strange part, and then it stops. The part stops.
The thing,
And then there's a break, and then it comes back in and repeats. It's such an odd.
Yeah, it's nonsensical. Really.
Yes.
well, the thing is though, like, I didn't hear the notes. You know what I mean?
know
It's
you
like
can't.
it's like when a great song happens and you don't even think about the harmony the whole
Right.
time.
Yeah.
You just feel. I just heard the sound and I felt
Yeah.
the feeling.
Yeah,
You know what I
totally.
mean?
Yeah,
It was like direct to heart programming.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question about that though. How much of this, like even the bandana and Rambo, and like, how much of that is just associative for us with the '80s, looking back on it in retrospect, versus like when this came out?
Yeah, good point.
Like they weren't thinking, "Oh, that sounds like 1985." They were like, "Wow, that's fresh as fuck."
But
True.
here's the thing. When we first listened to it, I had such a different feeling than the way that we're talking about it now. Like the way that we're talking about it now, we're talking about it as if these things are all by themselves a bit cheesy, but when they're
Yeah.
like I didn't experience it
no,
like
cheesy.
that at all.
Zero.
I experienced it as like fuck, this mix is clean and dialed and
Yes.
every sound
Yeah.
is massaged and perfect and it doesn't even sound 80s to me. Is that just
Well, I think it's actually exactly what you were just talking about, where I think in when artists are working at this high a level, I think you are just kind of met, no matter how many times you listen to it, you're met with this visceral experience of the feeling. And that's the same for the Beatles too. And not only do you not necessarily recognize how potentially cheesy things are isolated, also sometimes you don't realize how difficult and bizarre like learning Beatles parts. You're like, well, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just because you're not even considering any of it but the whole.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And you
Oh,
can't
that's
even
such a
decide.
Good point.
Yes.
This feels like a whole.
Yes.
And then when you break it down and you listen to the components, it's almost like, I don't want to say it's a futile exercise, but like
Right.
it's not about the components. It is about that overarching feeling.
It's about feeling the whole, which
Yeah.
we should do as often as
Okay.
often as we get an
Okay.
opportunity.
Cool, here we go.
Wait, I just want to say one more thing about
that?
feeling the whole.
No.
No, I'm serious.
This is important.
I'm serious. So, Kane gets it. This is
Musically
important.
speaking.
A friend of mine let me borrow. Do you know about Dumble amps?
No.
I've heard of them.
Okay,
yeah,
Dumble amps are the Lamborghini, the Rolls Royce, whatever's above that. Whatever car there's only 100 of in the world.
Yeah.
They're each, you know, this guy in Northern California was building these amps for all the stars, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Santana, and now like Bonamassa has half of them and John Mayer has half of them. And there's like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 in the world. They're all like 100, 200 grand. These, you know, crazy expensive amps. So a friend let me borrow an amp that Dumble had modded, which was like a Vibro champ, and it had a Radio Shack speaker in it. Like the components were not crazy.
Yeah.
Like the magic was in his ability to understand how everything interacted and worked together and make it breathe and resonate with whoever was playing it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a similar thing. It's like when you're making art, you can use anything.
100%.
Like it matters how it feels when you absorb the whole thing.
And you know what the trick is about that from an artist's perspective is you get a sense of that entirety almost immediately when you catch a vibe, you catch something, and then the whole skill set and the talent is the pursuit of getting that out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it does hit you like a wave, like a listen does, you know what I mean? And then you're just chasing after it, hopefully not for too long.
Yeah.
It reminds me of I talked to a filmmaker recently whose films look like Hollywood films. You watch these videos and you're like, this is a Hollywood film. It looks like something out of Amelie, close-up wide lenses, like misty backgrounds. The lighting is insane. These like amazing it's like the most incredible work. He's 20 years old. He films on a little camera by himself. He doesn't have a dolly. He uses skateboards. He puts the tripod on skateboards and pushes them, and then he edits the frames because the skateboards wiggle a little bit. So he goes through frame by frame and he nudges the thing so it's right on track and totally smooth and not wiggling at all. And he's like, it's like the amps.
Yeah.
It's just he gets that whole output from a bunch of cheap shit.
Yeah.
And his name is Gox. He's an amazing filmmaker and YouTuber. But what his skill is just like this amp guy, Dumble amps. He gets this amazing output from Radio Shack speakers.
Dumble and Gox. We got to change our names.
Wow, that sounds like a 20s bank or something that went under during the
Suddenly
Depression.
become very clear to me why we're not as skilled as they are. Our names
It's our names. You got a good name, though.
There's no Gox.
Kane Ritchotte, dude?
Kane Ritchotte doesn't really
That's a
stand
good
up
name.
to Gox and Dumble.
Okay, can we
Sorry.
break down? I want to go for
I
arrangement
would
and
kill
instrumentation.
for Kane Ritchotte, man.
That's sweet.
I
You can
got
have
Ryan
it. You can have
Lerman.
it. Ryan
Okay,
Lerman's
go
good.
ahead.
Okay, we're going for instrumentation and arrangement to see if we can get to the bottom of why does the entirety of this thing work so
Yes,
well.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
There's a sound on the left that I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Do we all have the same left? Yes, we do. It's on
Yeah.
the mic side.
It's like there's like the organ-y sort of like choir sound on the right. When that comes in, there's some other thing on the left.
Find it for
Let's hear
us.
it. Oh.
Is that like an organ?
One more
Wait,
time,
where?
because I was hearing something different. Oh yeah, or like a CP70.
Ah.
That percussive thing.
Yeah, it's like a squirrely
It's
little.
really tiny. There's also something else going on the left side that's either some sort of effect send, but it's working in conjunction with that in a way that is obscuring both things.
Wait, you're hearing that on the left?
Yeah.
Okay, can I hear? I don't hear.
I didn't hear it until he pointed it out.
It sounds like an organ.
Or it
sounds-
might be a piano.
Yeah.
To me, I hear like a lot of vibrato on it, but
There's some
Interesting.
kind of organy thing going on that
Yeah.
side too.
and then on the right, what's happening with the choir thing?
Yeah, it just sounds like pads to
good.
me. Just sounds like a Juno
but
type
there's
pad.
some. I wonder if it's actual tape. There's some like intermittent warble, something that's making it
Sounds
not
like,
just a straight
I doubt
pad.
this is what they did, but it sounds like somebody playing organ and somebody else or somebody grabbing different drawbars or filtering through one.
Yeah,
It's like it's doing like a weird.
yeah, yeah.
So let's. What else is happening here? So we got this amazing percussion bed, which we know is tom, snare, kick, shaker, and
Heard a cowbell at one moment too.
yeah,
Some sort of cowbell.
2 shakers
two shakers, one on each side. And what else do we have? We
that are
have
so close. Like you don't even.
yeah,
they're
they
so
are
close.
real
You don't
close.
even
Yeah.
I know they're nice.
notice them.
there's the piano riff.
Organ stuff
Which is
or choir or something.
yeah. It's
I think it's organ, but it's like roomy.
it's recorded so well that it sounds MIDI.
Yeah.
That piano.
Yeah.
It's like if you use that piano nowadays, people would be like, "No, we got to fuck up that piano
I
sound
know.
because people think it's MIDI."
I know I'm trying to go back to that and make it sound MIDI, but
Yeah.
it not be MIDI thing.
Yeah.
That's my new wave.
Yeah, it sounds like a big ass C7 or something.
Is there no bass?
It's just that riff.
Is it just the piano? So the
think so.
piano is the acting bass.
Yeah. Oh, that's a
I mean,
good
unless it's
point.
being doubled. It's also one of those recordings like from that era where stuff could kind of be.
Yeah.
It's like the low end is like 100 hertz.
Yeah.
You know?
and
Also-
all the toms and the kick.
It's all
Yeah, it's up
mid-range.
there,
Yeah.
There's also not a ton of top except
No.
for that tambo, and even the tambo is sort of sounds like it's rolled off
Silky.
or something.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
kind of a NS10y mix.
Totally. I mean, those
it
kinds of
really
mixes tend to sound good everywhere. you
Yeah.
know? It's also hard. It's another context thing though too, where like, as long as your low end and as long as your spectrum is in balance with one another, it can kind of be in this window. Or it can be
Right.
really tall.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it's as long as it's complementing
Such a
each
good
other.
point.
It's funny
Yeah.
because
It reminds me of sci-fi.
Totally.
Where, like you in science fiction, you like set up the rules of the world, and then the story takes place in those rules.
Right.
But you can choose whatever rules you want, and they can be
Yeah.
as nonsensical as want.
Yeah.
As long as you set up the rules of the world, that's like the spectral range for a song. If it's a
Totally.
mid-rangey song, you set up whatever rules you want for the spectral like range of the song, and then
Yeah.
if you play in that, it's like it sounds good. You're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
the bass, and
Right.
there's the tam, and
Right.
there's the drums,
Totally.
and it doesn't sound dark or bright. It's just like
Or
that's
small.
the
Yeah.
Do you guys want to listen to the piano solo one more time?
Yeah,
Let's
let's
give
listen
it
to that piano
a little
solo.
more.
Wait. Sorry. Before we listen to the piano solo, what else is going on? We've
Vocal.
got Pat. Let's talk
And
about the vocal.
it's a very Lennon like. It's a stat. He's hovering. Da, 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 da. It's like two notes.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. He's keeping it pretty static, kind of with the same ethos as that
Everything
bass
else.
riff.
Yeah.
And you need those two things to kind of be that way. It's
Yeah.
very cool. Move
So let's
to Mark
hear
Hollis.
that vocal. That's the 4 now. So we've just been hearing, and
Right.
then he sings, which is like we've been
Yeah.
in this land,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then he sings,
yeah.
and it's like when he hits that note, it's this lift in the whole
Yeah.
thing because we're out of this like mode mixture thing, and now we're back.
And there's so the way they play with major minor
Yes.
Yeah.
is I can't think of another band who
Radiohead.
and Radiohead. I mean, and it is in all of their. It's something that they do. It's obviously like a core harmonic
Yeah.
kind of influence for them because it's. I feel like it's showcased the least in this song probably from other songs in this era.
Yeah.
They'll move from major to minor cycles like to kind of carve out sections.
Yeah.
And it's such a drastic and obvious mood feeling.
Yeah.
And
And,
it's
and
so
the
good.
way that they get into each section, like, you don't notice the world shift
No.
until like the
No.
second or third bar.
Well, that's because the chord change that's different happens in the second bar, right? Because the first
right,
chord of
right.
both sections
The root.
is the root major,
Yeah.
and then the second chord in the chorus is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
in the verse it's
Yeah.
so you don't know that you're in the chorus until bar 2.
But even the way the first chord comes in, can we listen to that? Because before, the only context you have is that bass line, which is neither major nor minor.
Right.
And you know what else really hammers that feeling home? And I imagine this was probably not an intellectual decision. It was probably intuitive. But that mood change complements the lyrical mood change. The way, because his lyrics are really brilliant too, especially in this song.
Let me pull up the lyrics here. Go
Because
ahead.
he's talking, he's kind of taking this phrase "life's what you make it," which seems like kind of innately positive or whatever, and he's putting a spin on it with every follow up, or at least the following lyrics are always make you question the sincerity of that.
Right.
And the same thing's happening
In the chords.
melodically, harmonically.
Yes.
It's posing
It's the
a
darkness
question
and the light.
It's
Kinda
tongue in
like-
cheek,
Right.
know?
Baby, life's what you make it. That can be good or bad, optimistic or pessimistic. Can't escape it.
That's the
Good or bad,
Yeah.
major or
I mean,
minor.
prison. Can't
Yeah.
escape prison.
Right,
Baby,
sure.
yesterday's favorite.
Don't you hate it?
Don't you hate it?
Yeah.
Baby, life's what you make it. Don't backdate it. To me, that sounds a little rhyme zone.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what else? What else rhymes with ate it?
I don't know if they had rhyme zone back then.
No. Baby, don't try to shade it.
Mm-hmm.
Beauty is naked.
Yeah,
So
sure
that's
is.
a cool rhyme.
Sure is. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels a little lyric-y.
It does as a read, and there's a few other bands, a kind of lyric that I've grown fond of because of its mysterious nature is a lyric that doesn't really resonate with me until it's sung.
Yeah.
I love going through a page of a Dylan lyric or whatever, some kind of lyric where I'm like, oh, it's a read, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
I mean,
but I kind of fuck with it when I'm like, this is a silly rhyme zone lyric.
The lyrics
but
are-
when he sings it,
They're wearing bandanas.
Exactly.
totally.
It's not about what they're saying.
It's
It's,
like
about
wh-
the feeling.
When you take each indivical thing, it's like, wait a second.
yeah,
Exactly.
Don't backdate it.
This is the
Right.
same thing as the piano riff.
exactly.
right.
It's on
It's
its
loud
own.
and proud.
Yeah, but it's the combo that makes it so great.
Exactly. It's the lyric when it's sung.
Yes.
And the context in which it's sung that delivers the actual message.
Can we also listen to the quality of his voice because it's got that Michael McDonald thing where
Sounds
it
like
sounds
he had a lot of egg salad. You
That's
know?
exactly my thought.
You know when you have
A
a
lot
throat
of
bubble?
mayonnaise.
You know. Listen to his voice. It sounds like his voice is. It sounds like his vocal cords are like like a bear.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It sounds like he has transplanted vocal cords. Let's
Yeah,
listen to
sure
this.
does.
You said percussion
One of a
bread earlier instead
Percussion
of percussion bed.
Bed, yeah.
I like
And now
bread.
he's talking about egg salad, and I'm starting to get hungry.
Oh, cool. We got a break for lunch soon. Okay, so this is the chorus.
Guess so.
I mean, actually,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's like
like
the post or the chorus.
If I
whatever you
wrote the
wanna call
song,
it.
that would be my argument for a chorus. I'd be
Yeah.
like, no, that's
they're-
the chorus.
They're starting with the chorus then, and then they go to the verse.
Yeah.
Right? Because the chorus is the mode mixture thing, the
Yeah.
flat 6, flat 7, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the verse is this lovely 1/4.
Sure
thing.
is.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching Dead Wax. If you've enjoyed this conversation, there's an extended episode over at patreon.com/scarypockets. Leave us a comment. We love hearing from you. Tell us what we should listen to next. Thanks again, and see you next time.